What's your favorite question?
What are you best known for?
Okay, great. So here's what everybody think about their favorite networking question. Okay, I'm putting my phone down. That's telling me that it's time to talk. So what I want you to do is go around and ask 2 or 3 people, if you can, your favorite question, and have them they're going to also engage in asking you the favorite question, and we're just going to circulate. And then when we're done, we're going to ask people to give us on a card their favorite question. And on Monday, I'm going to write for my Dr. Rob blog a list of favorite questions that people have for networking. All right. So who are you going to find to do here?
Who am
How
I going
about
to
Chuck
talk to?
Newman?
Sure.
Chuck Newman. Chuck, do you have a favorite question?
Yes.
Nick, ask him.
Okay. Why did you come this morning?
Oh, I have a good answer for that.
All right, so that's it. So we're going to know about why did you come, and your question again is, I forget also.
Tell me something unique about you.
Tell me something unique about it. All right, so everybody got their question. You've got about 10 minutes here, and we'll see how many you can generate and get around. And
All right.
we're not going to have any lingering conversations, but just enough to get curious. Okay?
Okay, Rob.
Go.
All right.
All right, it's getting time to change partners. This question's answered. Switch partners. Hold on.
Yeah, there's so I'm regional president for the we're over on Miller. So we make, yeah, it's actually it's on Miller and so no other box can have anywhere else. So we do. Yeah. And he was nice enough to give me like 30 minutes.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I had a few people that I have asked to join me, so if you're one of those folks that was going to make an announcement to me, a few other people, come on up. Brandon, lots of exciting things going on in town. So, first of all, I'd like to say good morning, everybody, and welcome to the June, good morning, the June Leaders Connect Breakfast. We're real excited to have Tim Marshall presenting this morning, and because Tim is such a rock star, we're encouraging you all to take pictures, photos, put them tweet. We want to try to create a Tim Marshall, like he's going to be higher than Drake on the Twitter feed for 1 second in the world, right? So we're hoping that we can do that. It might even be higher than LeBron. I don't know. Did you see the game last night? Yeah, LeBron was a little too he banged his head into a camera. Anybody see that? It was a brutal hit. He fell and cut himself in 2 places in his head. And then went on with the game, which was kind of interesting. But unfortunately, he didn't do that well, and they lost by 30 points. So those of you that, how many new people? We have quite a few new people here this morning. So everybody, welcome to the new folks. We're glad you're here. And if you were going to come up and speak, I've asked if you come on up. Come on up. And I'm trying to encourage people who are doing interesting things in the community to talk about their new businesses. And this is the Connect part of Leaders Connect. So hopefully we got some good questions. What was the best question anybody heard? Does anybody want to nominate a question they thought was, what a great networking question you heard? What did you hear, George?
I was talking to Karen, and one question that came out.
Karen back there?
Yeah, where's Karen? One of the questions we discussed with one another is, what makes you unique?
What makes you unique?
Yeah, what makes you you, other than your name Karen? So
all right.
It was an interesting conversation.
That's a great question. So I sent out a Monday blog, and last week I put out my favorite questions, and I asked people to contribute. I got a lot of great answers, and I'm also going to contribute these. So if you could put on, I've got your cards here, but if you have other cards that you can put your question on, I'd like to have like the 100 greatest questions that you can have to start a networking conversation. Or, you know, what do you say to your kids when they get home at 2 in the morning? That's another question. Probably not a question you're asking, but an opinion. So, one of the things about Leaders Connect, we try to highlight great things that are going on in the community. I want to, first of all, mention our sponsors, Bank of Ann Arbor, but also Zingerman's. And Zingerman's has something going on a Sunday, which is grilling. And I don't know how many of you know that Zingerman started Food Gatherers 30 years ago probably, and this is their big fundraising event. And it's also a fundraising event because you go there and have a blast. And so they're selling tickets here. And if you want to buy some tickets, we have them for, and even if you can't go, it's a great thing to give away or just to contribute to a great cause where they distribute food that are left over in restaurants to people who need to eat and are hungry, and so it's a great service in the community. Other things going on, we always have a nonprofit corporation every month that's our key that we try to contribute to. And this week it's Michigan Theater. And Lee, come on up and tell us what's going on for you guys.
So if you don't know, the Michigan Theater is a community-based, mission-driven nonprofit that has existed as a nonprofit since 1979 when it was saved from the wrecking ball by the community. Thank you. And we do 365 days a year. Movies, concerts, lectures, meetings, parties. It's a true community resource. We're very proud to work with the Michigan Theater. We have a $4 million budget per year, so we're a fairly decent-sized nonprofit for a community company. And right now, we're in the middle of what's actually our biggest project. A few years ago, it didn't even exist, but a few years ago, we launched an idea called Cinetopia. It's the Cinetopia International Film Festival. And it was born of the idea that the Detroit, Ann Arbor area was one of very few areas in the whole country that didn't have a major film festival. There's plenty of really cool niche festivals, but not that major film festival that Toronto and Chicago and Cleveland, Atlanta, you name it, everybody's got that big film festival. So we started this deal, and 2011, we started just with the Michigan Theater. In 2012, we moved into Detroit and partnered with the Detroit Institute of Arts. And in the last couple of years, we've expanded dramatically to the point where this year we are actually in 15 different venues across the Southeast Michigan region. And several downtown Detroit, but also the Maple Theater in Bloomfield, the Arab American Museum in Dearborn, Redford, all across, and including many free venues so we can include people who might not be able to afford to go to the paid events. So it's going very, very well. And we're right now, today is day 8 of a 10-day festival. So we've been doing this since last Friday. We launched it at the DIA last Friday night. And it's been going great. And there's 3 more days here in Ann Arbor. Tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. And believe it or not, the next 3 days, we're going to show 65 films. At the Michigan, at the State, at the Modern Languages building. Last time we had a great big outdoor event on Maynard Street. We shut down the street and showed Jaws, had a huge crowd. The night before we were down in downtown Detroit, you know where Campus Martians is? It's this beautiful outdoor park right in the center of the city with lit buildings. And we had a Michael Jackson sing-along, dance-along event. Had well over 1,000 people.
Can you give us a little ABC?
That's that question I asked. Can you do ABC? But anyways, it's going very well. It's supported by the community, it's supported by sponsors, and well, I hope that you can come out and see at least one of the 65 films this weekend. I've got a few programs here if you'd like to, but you can also go to cinetopiafestival.org and see the complete schedule. So, thank you very much.
We'd like to pull a card out of our we just pull a card out here and see if we can give a couple free passes for tonight.
Actually, I want to go further. We talked about maybe giving away a ticket to a show. It's actually harder than it sounds because what show do you want to see? We don't really know. There's all these different shows. So instead, we're going to give away a pair of movie passes for the entire remaining part of the festival. So somebody will win a pair. Again, you can pick any of the films over the next 3 days. So
Great. All right. All right, we'll go.
Maybe.
All right, we got, Mim Mamzelle. All right, come on up, I'll
have that pass prepared for you with your name on it. Land your pass. It'll be at the box office this evening at the Michigan Theater.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Congratulations.
So we also like to feature some businesses that are new to town or that people don't know about. So I'd like to introduce Dylan McGinn, and Dylan will tell you about his very exciting, kind of maybe revolutionary business that he's doing out of a building which I happen to share with him.
So a week ago, I guess we have our insurance company, Analytical Design Service Corporation, in the 30th year. It used to be supporting companies like GM, Toyota, see if I'm getting here, I'm really there.
Speak a little louder there.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's better.
So we were consulting for companies like GM, Toyota, Ford Edison for 30 years. And 10 years ago, we started developing a wind turbine, which now we're bringing to market. It is designed, patented, of course, by companies here in Ann Arbor, suppliers from Michigan. And now we're bringing that to market. And it is the best turbine in the world. After 4 years of testing, we can say that. And of course, the utilities probably don't like this because you produce electricity cheaper on your property than you can buy from the utility. So we just use for about 5 cents an hour. And so oddly enough, we're getting responses from all over the world, like Hawaii, Caribbean, even Saudi Arabia. So a place like that are loving our wind turbine because it can produce renewable energy. And the thing is, our turbine, we've designed it the last 50 years. So unlike the other turbines you see just fall apart in a few months, or a few years. So we're very excited to bring that to market, and we just started the sales phase. So my question to you was, do you want to buy a wind turbine?
My answer is, I want to put DTE out of business. How's that?
Exactly. They're smart to buy from us, but they haven't gotten that smart yet. So no, we're excited to bring that to market, and we got a lot of support, of course, from Ann Arbor Spark, supported us all over the years, and Of course, we hate to say it took us 10 years to get to this point. We pretty slow, but we took a slow, steady road to make sure it works. So if you're interested, take a look at arborwind.com. Good name, it's not named for Ann Arbor, but it's arborwind.com. Thank you.
Thanks for that. This business has grown out of St. Joe's, and you can tell us about emergency medicine, what you got going.
Thanks.
Say your name.
Well, I'm Michael Baker. I'm with Emergency Physicians Medical Group, but I'm actually the CEO now of a company called Care on Q. And Care on Q is an online urgent care. And that may sound strange, but what we found is that in the emergency center, we see a lot of people that come in for relatively minor complaints and get care someplace else, but there's just nowhere else to get care at 2 in the morning. So we're going to be a 24-hour online urgent care where you can get access to an emergency physician from your cell phone, from your tablet, from your computer. Basically, anywhere you are and have an internet connection, you'll be able to reach an emergency physician and be able to not only talk with them and get a consultation, but also get an appropriate prescription if the prescription's needed, get referred to be referred to somebody. So we're really trying to make a new way of getting access to care. And it's all starting right here in Ann Arbor.
We want to avail of ourselves of that. Is there a way we could do it individually?
There is. What we're looking to do is try to recruit businesses and health plans to be part of us by enrolling their employees or their health plan members. And we have a monthly fee for that. But then anybody who is just with the general public that wants to have access to that service, you can come in any time to our website at careonq.com, and it's $49 for a visit.
Great. So we can stay at home with our own wind generator, and if we put our finger in the fan, we can call you. Is that okay?
And you get somebody with a fever at home at 2 in the morning and want to know if you can go to working out the next day, or if you have to stay home with that person, give them a call and help you out with that.
Fantastic. All right, great service. Say the address again, Michael, real loud and real slow.
It's Care on Q. It's CAREON and the letter Q. The idea being that you get your health care on Q when you need it.
CareOnQ.com.
Do you have an app yet?
We do.
You do? Okay.
We have an app. It's in the Android App Store. Apple App Store is coming next week.
What's the app? Same thing.
Care on Q.
We've been a big supporter of United Way, and Brandon Black is here. And come on up, Brandon, tell us what you guys are doing and what you need from us, okay?
Good morning. What a fun group to be with. This is an honor to be here and a lot of fun. I'd like to give a shout out to Sonic Lunch too, since Tim is here today. If you haven't had a chance to get down, it's a lot of fun. Take a few minutes to go down. They got food there, and it's a good time to meet up with some friends. So shout out Sonic Lunch. One of my favorite parts of my job at the United Way is to be able to bring volunteer opportunities to companies or families or schools or even individuals. And next Friday, June 19th, is our National Day of Action. Actually, we have some things on Saturday too. So if you thought about volunteering, or you'd like to come out by yourself, bring your family, school group, since we're on summer break, church group, or a work group, if you want to do a team exercise. Next Friday, we have probably 25 or 30 different opportunities you can plug into, again, either individual or as a group. Catholic Social Services is an example. Give 365 if you want to do some outdoor environmental work. House by the side of the road. There's just lots of cool different things. If you want to learn about a nonprofit, volunteering is a good way to do it. So you go to volunteerwashtenaw.org, which is the volunteer site the United Way brought to the community, thanks in part to Bank of Ann Arbor as well. Check it out. There are plenty of things to do. volunteerwashtenaw.org. And if you can't do National Day of Action next Friday and Saturday, check out the other listings for there are hundreds of things to do any day of the week, all throughout the year. So again, check it out, volunteerwashtenaw.org. Next Friday, Saturday, National Day of Action, all about volunteering.
People do a lot of team building, and I think this is one of the greatest ways to team build. It's free, right? Is just get your group together and say, Friday we're not coming into the office, we're going to go do whatever. Give us a couple of examples of some of the things that you might have.
Actually, I brought a list.
All this. I'm not breaking anybody's yard.
Yeah, because there are some pretty fun. There are those. We have painting. Catholic Social Services has some painting availability. Hope Clinic as well has some indoor sprucing up their facility. Give 365 is a great partnership we have with the county that you can get out and you can do cleaning up of rivers or parks or things like that. We also have Ypsilanti Meals on Wheels. If you want to deliver meals, you can do that. And maybe one of the coolest ones this year is Glacier Hills. You can take some time and spend with a senior. So if you have a few hours, you can go out to Glacier Hills and just sit and share stories, listen to stories really, from the seniors there. So lots of cool different things.
Thank you. All right, let's get here for Brandon. And just to think about that for a minute, I was in Brooklyn this last weekend, which is why I look so hip this morning. The white shoes are very big. And I'm not here for fashion tips. I'm here to tell you that if you walk through sections of Brooklyn like Red Hook, which is a pretty down and out section, used to be a Mariners place, and then it got cut off by the freeway. You walk around, and on the corners, there's these beautiful gardens. And you read these inscriptions on the gardens. They're gated in, but they're available for the residents. And what it turns out is that the neighbors have taken these overgrown lots that look like blight in the neighborhood, and they've worked collectively, like Brandon has talked about, to restore these, and they've created little neighborhood parks. And when you think about the vacant land in this area, whether you go to Saginaw or Ypsilanti or Detroit, you think about, wow, we could turn these not only into farmland, which people are talking about, a little far-fetched, but we could turn them into beautiful parks for the residents by contributing this kind of work. So I think it's very exciting, especially if they all have a little wind turbine in it, energy during the bad weather. So I saw Marissa came in. Where's Marissa Smith? Marissa, you want to just shout out real quick the resurgence of your organization?
Good morning. Hi. How many of you are familiar with the book Small Giants or the Small Giants community? Oh good, lots of people. So a few years ago, a community started up around a book called Small Giants, which features Zingermans heavily. And it's a great book, and it's all about companies who are trying to be great and not just big. And it focuses on 6 qualities of a small giant. It's a lot about community engagement, treating your employees well, having great relationships with your customers, all that great stuff. So there's a local group starting up again here in Ann Arbor, because Zingerman's is kind of the hub of business mojo here, right? And we had an event last month with about 35 people. You were there. And we have another event coming up this June 24th, which is a Wednesday. It's out at Zingerman's Cornman Farms, and it's at 6 o'clock. If you are interested in coming and mingling with other small giants and hearing a great speaker, Anise Kavanaugh, who is speaking at Zing Train that morning. She's running a 2-day workshop the next day all about energetic leadership. She will be speaking, and so if you're interested, please come see me. I have some flyers. I can give you the information, give you your card, and I'll send you the info.
I got a question for you.
So, yeah.
Would Bank of Ann Arbor qualify as a small giant?
Yeah, actually, I think they would. Yeah.
Why?
Why? Well, I think the engagement with the community is key. You really do, support great customer relationships, great working environment for your employees. Those are all the types of qualities that this organization supports. And what I love about the organization is everybody's really open. And so if you're struggling with something, you can reach out to the organization and say, hey, I don't know how to hire people based on my values. And like 15 people will send you their template and schedule a call with you and tell you what they do to help you. So I just can't tell you enough about how that organization has helped our company grow to where we are, as well as Bank of Ann Arbor supporting the growth too. So thank you.
Jan, come on up.
Please see me if you want to know. Please.
She did promote her own company, which is you got to do that all the time, Marissa. The Whole Brain Company, which is a marketing, particularly social media marketing, great company. And Jan, you were here last month talking about the Athena Awards, and you want the announcement. Come on out of the photo there.
Okay.
And McDermott. The winner is?
Well, I mentioned the synergy last month, those of you who were here, with the speaker and all of the groups, and mentioned that the neutral zone was here, and that the Community Foundation had been part of starting the neutral zone. Cheryl Elliott was selected as the Athena Award recipient. We're having a lunch for her on the 25th. I saw it conflicts with Tim Marshall's son. The other thing that was awarded that night is a grant that is given to a woman-owned business. And that woman-owned business receives a panel of experts who works with her for a year to grow her business and to improve profitability. And I'm pleased to say that with us this morning is Anna Skidmore from 2 Foot Creative. Stand up, Anna, so they can all see you. And we will be working with Anna for the next year to help her grow her business and make it more profitable. She's a wedding planner, but has great dreams for an expanded type of operation. And we're happy to be able to be helping her. So congratulations. And just to show you the kind of work that this group does, Marissa Smith was one of the first businesses, women-owned businesses, that the Athena Power Link program worked with back when she was just beginning her new business. And look at the whole brain group now.
Thank you. So one other thing I wanted to mention is people ask me what I do besides MC, and I am an executive coach and leadership coach, and I've got something going on that some of you may be interested in. There's a lot of efforts on helping companies startups, but there's not a lot of effort on helping companies finish strong. So there's a book out by Bo Burlingham, which I was introduced to by last time at your event, and Bo's a great writer, and it's called Finish Big. And so I'm putting together a group of, I would guess, fourth quarter members of playing the fourth quarter, still going strong, of entrepreneurs and leaders. We're going to talk about creating a group where people who are want to sell their business or want to finish strong in their executive career can go to get support. Chuck, I think, just walked out. Chuck Newman was here. He's going to participate in that. Anybody else signed up for that? But these are folks like Roger, myself, Chuck Newman, who's right here, that have been either executives or entrepreneurs in the community for 20, 30 years. And the idea is that we're going to support other entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out how to sell their businesses or transition their businesses to their employees, or else just figure out what you want to do. As George, my friend George Johnson here, is transitioning from a little company in Detroit called GM to want to figure out what he does, because he's still got the fourth quarter to play of his career, and he's got a lot to offer. So we're trying to bring people together like that and figure out how to create a supportive community. And that's really basically what I do, is build supportive communities for people. And I wanted to, if I could do this, give away one of my books. I've got a couple books here. Balanced Leadership, which is about books. It's a book about leading. I've got 2 books about dogs. And I announced to a few people today that I'm starting to work on a new book about depression in families. So I'm interested in hearing stories from you if you've grown up in a household where there's depression, what that's like and how you survive. So anyway, I'm going to pick another card here. I'm going to let you pick it. Claudia, I don't cheat at anybody. You know, I don't want to hold your own. All right, what did you get there? Read it.
John Hollingsworth.
Where's John Hollingsworth? Will the real John Hollingsworth please stand up? John, what do you do?
I work for Stockholm, which is a social service non-profit.
Okay, great. So you can pick a book out either about dogs or men or leaders, whatever, you know, whatever you think. So it's with great pleasure I want to move right into the next part of the business, and I want to introduce Tim Marshall. I think Marissa's already done a great job of talking about small giants, because Bank of Ann Arbor, which now I think is like the last standing local bank, truly local bank in the community, is a small giant. It's been here, it's about being here, or in just this region. And they've done so much for the community, including getting me this shirt, which is very, very Brooklynish, wouldn't you say? Yeah. The only thing, Tim is pretty cool, and he's got, I thought my white shoes were good, but where did you get those? Those are really green and white. I mean, kids, right? Yeah. The guy's styling. He's very styling. Let's hear it for his looks. Thank you, everyone, introduced by that before now. And I also, before I bring you up, I wanted to give a special shout out to Mike Cole. Mike, can you raise your hand? How many of you have worked with Mike Cole in developing your businesses here? I'm sure there's a lot of hands. So, Marissa, a lot of them. Yes, Janice. Michael is really unique in our community and in the banking world because he helps people who have a dream become a business. And he's willing to talk to you whether you've got lots of money or very little money, and wherever you are in the financial life cycle, he will help you figure out how to make your dream into a business and successful. And Michael, what are a couple of the businesses that you've worked with that, besides Marissa's, that have grown on to good things?
Well, Marissa's one of the superstars, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I work with a lot of technology, life science companies, venture capital companies around town, so specialize in working with those types of firms.
And I think the fact that the bank supports this effort, which is not, an effort that most banks have, and any banks have. I mean, other than California, I think we're unique in this area to have this kind of banking service. So it's the kind of thing that Tim gets behind, and I'd like to present Tim, and he's going to talk about his story with the bank. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Rob. Good to see everybody here this morning. In addition to Michael, I see a few other of my colleagues. I see one of my board of directors, David. David Sarnes is on the bank board. And then if all the colleagues from the bank, I see Mary and Rico and Carl and Janice. Nice group. Thanks for joining us this morning. What I'd like to do is just walk you through a little bit on how Bank of Ann Arbor transitioned from what I would classify as a traditional community bank brand to appeal to more people throughout our community, utilizing such things as our marketing and advertising program, special events, social media.
You're okay?
So it's really kind of, is everybody here okay in the back? Social media and heavy staff participation. As some of you know, Bank of Ann Arbor was opened in January 1996. It was as several of our founders found the landscape in 1995. There was no longer any community banks. The regional banks had, as in most communities, had come in and acquired all the community banks. The power of community banking to both individuals and to small businesses is very important. And the templates for doing business are very different from a larger institution. When the bank started, its strategy was pursuing low-hanging fruit, which was typically an older clientele base with a lot of money, and small business owners who were frustrated with the transitions, and the small business owners themselves, not only their businesses. So the target market tended to be people that were wealthier, established business owners who missed for a variety of reasons, the local bank field. So the bank hired experienced bankers. It was not untypical to have 20 to 30 years of experience, and then they mined their old portfolio of accounts and brought them over to Bank of Ann Arbor, and so the end result was it was a very successful start. In July 2004, we had a new president and CEO. That would be me. And I just happened to be about 30 years younger than my predecessor. After about 18 months on the job, I saw the potential of broadening the appeal of our bank to reach a younger and more diverse audience. And by younger, our target market was that 25 to 50-year-old range, and not the college students. We really don't have a product line that caters to the in-and-out college student. See low account balances. But we were trying to hit people who were professionals, starting or working in local businesses, buying houses, starting to make good wages, and needing banking services and consultative services. So in late 2005, I sat down with our local ad agency, Parrish Design and Advertising, to begin a strategy discussion on how we wanted to rebrand the bank. And to be completely transparent, Ernie Parrish, who is the founder and owner of Parrish and Partners, is also a member of my board of directors. And it comes in very helpful at times when we want to pursue a strategy that might be a little less traditional. It can be the two of us, Ernie and me, trying to convince David that this is really a good strategy. So after we went through a whole branding exercise, Ernie calls it Adverthing, and it was about a 6-month process where the agency interviewed our clients, interviewed our prospects, interviewed centers of influence in the community, and interviewed a large cross-section of our employees. And at the end of that exercise, the outcome was that Bank of Ann Arbor is a very altruistic organization. And through this altruistic determination, we came up with the tagline, Bank of Ann Arbor helps. And that was the start of the rebranding of Bank of Ann Arbor. So simultaneously, we introduced a younger feeling, fresh color to complement our existing blue, and that color was Granny Apple Green. And putting it all together, it makes a bold statement for what we do every day with every point of contact inside and out. So for several years, we've been using the helps as the focus of our marketing efforts, and it has grown to really, truly represent the culture of the bank. This has been accomplished through a very integrated marketing effort, and allow me to show you some highlights of how we applied the helps messaging in media choices, community events, and then I'll finish with some culture. And you might like to see how all of this has come together to reflect in the results that we've generated over the past several years. So we started with Bank of Ann Arbor helps in the underline, and we would just put different catchphrases. Ernie has a very good penmanship, so we utilize his efforts. And an example for our estate management group in our trust area, that might have read Bank of Ann Arbor helps in the afterlife. For our business banking group, it might have read Bank of Ann Arbor helps small businesses become big businesses, so on and so forth. In the turmoil of 2009, we changed our strategy just a bit, where we really focused on accessibility and security. And we performed extremely well during the downturn. Bank of Ann Arbor refused to take any government TARP money. We did not have to raise any additional capital, and we were profitable through the whole downturn, which was quite an anomaly, but also a statement as to the conservative nature of how we run the bank. In late 2010, most of you will be familiar with this. We transitioned to the non-local banks Think campaign, just to show that that we know our community better than most of the non-local, regional, and national institutions. We did this in a very humorous but clever way. In 2014, we found through some surveys that some of the market perceptions were that a bank the size of Bank of Ann Arbor might not be as technologically astute as some of the larger institutions, which was completely incorrect. We can match up our mobile banking products, our online products with anybody in the country. So we took advantage of some of these results, and last year we really hammered home our mobility products and where we were at. And then early this year, we transitioned to a new, what we call the Like Love campaign, which I'll show you some of the creative. From 2006 through today, there's a confidence, a humor, and intelligence that we've infused in our brand very carefully. We want to be not only the local bank, but the smartest bank, first and foremost. The interesting brand that makes you laugh as you drive down the street or sit down to dinner, versus the brand that feels like they should be leading the parade. I really like it when people discover things that we put out there. I hear on many occasions that somebody went back to their office or they went home and they Googled one of the billboard messages that we were having because they didn't know what we were trying to say. But I never felt the need for the brand to be loud and proud. I just don't embrace that as a brand message, nor do I think we would have been as successful as we have been moving along the confident, humorous, and intelligence path. So the media that we incorporated, I thought I would just show you a few of the ways that we've attacked our media. Similarly to the brand, we've tried to move away from some of the more traditional bank media, putting our efforts behind an out-of-home media like billboards, radio, and then when we lost our daily print newspaper several years ago, we really began to pound home our message digitally and online. We still do some print advertising, but it's mainly for our nonprofit event brochures and pamphlets. So this is our new Likes and Love. We try to be very basic in our messaging. We don't want the reader to have to spend much time because this is a very busy world. There's a lot of clutter out there. And so we want to grab somebody's attention quickly, hopefully bring a smile to your face, and then move on. But we have generated very high top-of-mind ratings in the marketing surveys that we've done as it relates to who we are and how we're delivering the message and what our clients think in terms of how we're providing the service. Some other ones that you might have seen, and I'll move on to this one. Other ones you might have seen across the town. We just put one up over Stadium Hardware that says, like hammers love thumbs. So these are a few examples of our non-local banks thing. Again, trying to interject some knowledge, some humor. But these are clearly some of my favorites. Bill Zarinsky, who owns Crazy Wisdom, a good friend, good client. He got a big kick out of his. And Donnie Knight, another great client, who just loved the, like Knights loves a strong pour. I think the key that we've tried to do is really cut through the clutter. You know, there's so much advertising clutter that we're faced with. Ernie would occasionally ask me, okay, what did you watch on TV last night? And can you tell me one commercial that you remember? Or what was the most recent publication that you received? And can you tell me 2 or 3 ads that really attracted your attention? So this is our, I'll give you just a couple radio spots that we've done for the Like and Love, and I'll also share a couple from our non-local banks thing that you might have heard.
Sorry.
Technical difficulties. Is it gonna go?
You gotta be on the.
Right there, get on the screen.
There you go. I'll just look on the screen.
Like salt loves pepper, like Peter Piper loves pickled peppers, like lumberjacks love plaid, like Prince loves purple, like cats love scratching things, like baseball players love scratching themselves, like the cube loves to spin, like Forrest Gump loves to run. That's how much Bank of Ann Arbor loves to help. How can they help you? Visit BOAA.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Like Joan Jett loves rock and roll, like Olivia Newton-John honestly loves you. Like supermodels love Photoshop, like The Rock loves a fresh coat of paint, like mosquitoes love ankles, like Kanye loves Kanye, like WBJs love YMCA. That's how much Bank of Ann Arbor loves to help. How can they help you? Visit BOAA.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Like Bo loved 56 to nothing, like fish love stink bait, like anchormen love hair products, like everybody loves rape.
So those are two of the spots that we're running right now. We've got 4 or 5 of them in the rotation. Janice, why don't you go ahead and then, these are just a couple, I think we've just got one on the non-local bankers thing, but why don't you play that one?
Hi. What's the big house? That's where the big boy lives. What's the old Heidelberg? It's the blimp. Exploded before World War II. Tragic. Cottage Inn. Cottage Inn is the stuff that makes lips puffy, Angelina Jolie, and cottage inn. What's fingerling? It's a type of potato. What are the ragbirds? They cause allergies. Ragbirds. Summer's gnome. She's the Olympic backstroker. No tie. Not today. I got the open collar going on. Lloyd car. That's the 4-door hybrid. Gets 42 miles per gallon, highway 34 in the city. Andy Dancer. He won the Triple Crown. Andy Dancer.
Those are a couple of our.
We've got a lot of Detroiters here, they may not know these things.
Well, they're gonna have to go back and Google it, I guess. So if you look, we also have a fairly aggressive online presence. We do what we call the MLive page takeover. And this is an example of the Like and Love campaign that we use digitally. So by a show of hands, who in the room is familiar with Shaky Jake? Okay, the Detroit presence knows who Shaky Jake was. So that's a little bit of our media efforts as we've built our brand. Another very critical part of our brand is community involvement, community building. We put a significant amount of personal and financial resources into supporting and building our community. We provide direct support on an annual basis of over 200 local nonprofit organizations who are attempting to help build this to be a better community. This has been an important fabric of the bank since the bank opening. We also see this as another strategic point of differentiation between Bank of Ann Arbor and our competitors. In addition, it starts from the point of hiring. We are very passionate in attracting people who share a similar commitment to the community and have a history of giving time, discretionary time, to help this community be a better place to live. And what's interesting to me is as we add more and more younger professionals to our team, it's interesting and encouraging. They're some of the first ones to sign up every month when we throw out the all employees email on all the events that Bank of Ann Arbor is supporting during the upcoming month and how many people we need to get to. So we're always looking for ways to rally the community. We've utilized some other, not so new today, but Facebook. We've done some charitable giving off our Facebook platform, and then as Rob mentioned earlier, our Sonic Lunch program, which I'll talk both about social media and Sonic Lunch next. So social media, I've always been very interested in technology. I spend a lot of time on technology and looking about future directions, where I think we need to be, where I think I need to be. And so this is just an example of some of our efforts and our tweets and Facebook posts. Some of you might have seen our Columbus Day tweet last fall, where we blasted out that we will not be closed on Columbus Day because Columbus is in Ohio. I can tell you it was big. When I got a call from the Washington Post at 8:45 that morning, I knew something was happening. We put the post out at 7:30. And then the post that we did with, Ernie and I worked together over the weekend when we really knew that Coach Harbaugh was coming. And so the creative was designed. We made contact with our billboard company, and then we had all the online creative ready to go for Facebook and Twitter. And at 9 o'clock Monday morning, we had billboards up. We blasted out messaging, and the announcement was at 11 o'clock that morning. So again, we had ESPN calling, Big Ten Network calling, Seattle Post called, and it's just kind of interesting for a somewhat small institution like us. But it's an example of how
people don't know who Jim Harbaugh is. They might want
Let me show. Did anybody see that? Did anybody see this? Okay, I'll hold that a second. Let me. Okay, so Sports Illustrated. Second paragraph. Harbaugh didn't even see the Bank of Ann Arbor billboards. Like Jim loves khakis, we love to help. Fun stuff. Really fun. But so if you take a look, if you're not following us on Facebook or liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, I would encourage you to do it. We really, again, it's not a loud and proud messaging. We're just not. That's just not our brand. But as an example, our combined Facebook likes for both Bank of Ann Arbor and Sonic Lunch are approaching 28,000, and our Twitter followers are nearly 11,000. In 2014, we created nearly 15 million impressions for people like you sitting around this room. 15 million people saw Bank of Ann Arbor's messaging on Twitter and or Facebook.
We don't like people to look on their cell phones, but if you want to go to Facebook and sign up right now, you can.
Please do, particularly if I'm putting you to sleep. Have at it.
And actually, if you go on Twitter, you can help trend this. Hashtag Drake, so. It's already out there.
Thanks, Janice. But it's kind of interesting. We're followed by the New York Times, we're followed by the Seattle Post, we're followed by the Washington Post, we're followed by ESPN, we're followed by the Big Ten Network, CBS Sports, NBC Sports. We put something out there. We can turn to Big Ten Network, and we can see them tweeting something about Bank of Ann Arbor. So just as another example of our commitment to the community, I met with the AFC Ann Arbor folks on a number of occasions earlier this year, and we just really liked what they were trying to do to create a family environment. They're playing at Pioneer High School currently. They're attracting a couple thousand people a game. And it's the local minor league soccer team. And so they needed some help getting started, and we provided the seed capital and entered into a long-term agreement to be their presenting sponsor for a number of years into the future. But it's what Michael does, working with startups, and it just seemed natural to me that this is another startup that can be another benefit and make this a better community to live in. This is just an example of it's just being involved. It's important to us to be involved. So up on the left was our United Way campaign where we had 3 goals. And I can't see them, but it had to do with percentage participation, and it had to do with leadership givers, and it had to do with giving. It was called the Greater campaign. So if you see that, you see greater than, and that was our messaging, and we blew away every one of our greater than goals. Other examples are, there's Leaders Connect up in the right-hand corner. There's Michael and others, and Celine Parade, and the Willow Run Bomber Plant. And I had Rob. This will just give you a little bit of an example. This is our effort just over the past 10 days. So the Greek Festival was last weekend. We had a large group of our colleagues at the Greek Festival, right, Mary? Mary's one of our leaders, Mary Hayes, sitting back there in the back. The Legacy Land Conservancy last night. We had a group of colleagues there. North Star Reach is having their annual event this Saturday at Cornman Farms. We got a group of people there. Food Gatherers was mentioned earlier. Same thing. I think we have 8 people attending that. The event on Main next Thursday. Mary's going to be joining me and Linda Brewer, and we'll have 6 people at the event on Main, which supports Mott Children's Hospital. And then the next night, I believe, or the night after that, I'll be attending the Ronald McDonald House event. So, in a very short period of time, and that's not uncommon from month to month to month, but it's important to us. This is our community, and the better we can help make this community, the better Bank of Ann Arbor is going to perform. Where am I going next, Jan? Oh, Sonic Lunch. This is one of my favorites, and this is our lineup for 2015. So last week we started with Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. Yesterday, Joshua Davis of NBC's The Voice fame. Next week, Jessica Hernandez from Metro Detroit is going to be joining us, a real up-and-comer. And then there's the rest of the lineup. And the neat thing about this year's lineup, and it doesn't happen every year, but every artist that we have coming has some sort of tie to Michigan. And one of the aspects of trying to get this started was definitely to support the local music industry and share their talents with the broader community. We talked, one of the commercial spots was on the Ragbirds, and there they are. They're to the left. They've played in our first 7 years. We also support their Christmas. They do a Christmas holiday concert at the Ark every year, and we sponsor that for them to be able to provide the food and beverage to the band members and the other different bands that come through. you see the lower right-hand corner, we've done a couple at the Michigan Theater. We did Darren Chris, who's a U of M graduate. This one was for Mayor Hawthorne, who grew up here in town, graduated from Huron High School and then University of Michigan. He now lives in Los Angeles, but his parents are great supporters of the bank. And it was an interesting story. We were having a hard time getting through to Mayor Hawthorne's management team, and we really wanted him on the schedule. And we were getting towards, we were having to close our lineup. And so I called his mother. I said, Kathy, we need to go to lunch. Can you meet me tomorrow, which was Friday? I said, let's meet at Real Seafood. And so she said sure. And so Kathy and I met for lunch. I told her my dilemma. And she said, well, this shouldn't be a problem. And sure enough, Monday morning we hear from the management company, and they say, oh yeah, Mayor's going to play, everything's good. So, when you want to get something done, you got to talk to the mom. So here's just, this is part of, this was last week. And, it's kind of fun to see where we've come from. This is a fledgling deal. I was walking by Liberty Plaza one day, and I saw a few people playing some music, and the normal plaza attendees were all sitting around and enjoying a beverage and a smoke. And, it just hit me that I thought Bank of Ann Arbor could put something together along a music festival idea, and really be another give back to the community. As well as sharing some wonderful musicians who people might not have a chance to see. This is yesterday at Joshua Davis, and Joshua is just, these people are just, they're so interested and they're so happy to play, and I can tell you they play for significantly less than what they would normally acquire if they were going to for paid vendors, so we're very appreciative of that. So this all kind of ties up. I'll kind of wind down with culture, and then I'll show you some of the results that I believe all this kind of intertwined together has helped us be very successful. So as you can see, we embrace apple, Granny Apple Green, and so I pulled my Chuck Taylors out this morning. But it's shoes, it's watches, it's cell phone covers, golf shirts, T-shirts. But our colleagues really embrace having some fun with promoting the brand of the bank. We added a new toy. This year we picked up a 1974 VW bus, and this unfortunately was Taste of Ann Arbor, which Bank of Ann Arbor sponsors the music stage with our Sonic Lunch brand, and then we put together the whole music list and pay for all the bands for Taste of Ann Arbor. And but unfortunately, a couple Sundays ago, if you recall, it was like 48 degrees, 50 degrees, and high winds. It was just awful. So this year's Taste of Ann Arbor didn't really work very well. Every branch maintains a healthy supply of dog biscuits. So it's not unusual to see our canine friends welcome a trip to the bank. And from where I can sit, I can see some dogs actually enter the building in front of their owners, and the smaller ones walk around, climb under the door, kind of the locked door, and get behind the teller line and get their treats. They are also frequent visitors to Sonic Lunch, and one of my colleagues yesterday, who was doing some work on the barricade, said, there are so many dogs here, we got to bring some Bank of Ann Arbor dog biscuits to Sonic Lunch. you know, the other aspect of our bank is we want to be welcoming. It's very important to me and to everyone else. So our community space, we make community space available at a number of our branches, which is used frequently by nonprofit organizations who don't have a nice meeting room, or our clients that just want to have an off-site visit. I think, David, you, New Step has used it in the past, and this community room, you've used it too, Jan. This community room is at our Ellsworth branch. And we have fun with our giveaways as well. You know, we try to add a sense of fun and green wherever we can, just making our environment feel younger and less old-fashioned, less traditional. So our culture has generated a number of Michigan and national awards. We won the Govenors Fitness Award for our wellness program 2 consecutive years. We were recently designated by Crains as the healthiest employers, one of the healthiest employers, and we won the grand prize on that. We were named as the 20th best bank to work for by the American Bankers Association, and that's out of 7,000 banks. The financial brand, which is located in Minneapolis, frequently identifies with some of the work we're doing, and we're frequently in the top 100 of all banks in the world as it relates to the utilization of social media. The ICPA lists us, our bank, in the top 20 nationally for Facebook, and then they have a top 20 for bank executives, and we have 3 out of the top 20 that are listed as the heaviest Twitter influencers in the country. So it's kind of crazy. That would be...
You are a rock star.
That would be Michael, Matthew Altruda, and myself.
Which one's at the top? You're not doing time, but... Okay.
Timid.
No. He is a rock star, ladies.
No. I'm just having fun. So how does this branding, how does this commitment to the community, how does the culture of the bank all work together to generate results that we should all be very proud of? So I thought I would just share a few of these with you to give you an idea. So if you look at the total assets, the bank assets in and of themselves, you see that we've nearly doubled over the last 5 years. At the end of '09, we were $542 million, and we went to nearly $1.1 billion at year-end 2014. This is our combined assets. If you look at both, we have a very stout. Can you go to the next one, Janice? This is our combined assets that includes both the bank assets and our trust assets under administration, which are investment assets. And so you can see a similar path. We just barely went over $2 billion in total assets at the end of this year. So since the opening, when we had 1 branch, $3 million in total assets, 15 employees, you can see where we've gone. We've now got 7 branches, $2 billion in assets, and 170 employees working out of our Bank of Ann Arbor offices. Our deposit growth has fueled the growth in total assets. As more and more people in this community are identifying with what Bank of Ann Arbor has to offer and have made the decision to move their deposit relationship to the bank. This is an exceptional compliment to our team, as moving deposits is not the easiest thing to do. I like to say people don't get out of bed in the morning and say, oh, I think I'll just go to the bank and I'm going to move all my checking and savings deposits today. So it just takes time, but I just think that the messaging, the commitment to the community, the culture, has all worked together to attract more and more people. And I do see several friendly faces out here. where they have made that decision over the past few years to move their relationships to the bank, and I just wanted to extend my heartfelt appreciation for your movement of your accounts to us. This is an example. We were the 7th largest bank in Ann Arbor in 2010, as you can see at the bottom. We moved to the 4th, the 3rd, and now we're currently the 2nd largest bank in Ann Arbor, and we've got some work to do to get in front of Chase. But I can tell you, I do get out of bed every morning thinking about how we're going to accomplish that. So as I mentioned, we were consistently profitable through the downturn. We've always embraced a conservative lending strategy. We don't promote growth for growth's sake. We don't try to out-extend ourselves in terms of concentration limits on any one product line. And with the significant growth in our balance sheet, we've been successful in growing our net income, which has actually outpaced the growth in our balance sheet by over 2 times over the past 4 years. This next one gives you an idea as to how we perform nationally. You can see that each year we've increased our performance, but we're now in the top 3.3% of all banks in the country on one of the earnings metrics, which is return on equity. And you can see that all banks in the country, the average is just a little bit less than 9. And what I call my peer banks, which are banks of similar size, there's about 1,500 of them. My peer banks are performing at a little less than 50% of what Bank of Ann Arbor is. So I really think that acting our age, which was the start of my comments, has energized our services, our colleagues, our community, and our growth. So thank you very much for having me this morning. It's been great to visit with you.
Good, thank you very much. And as a customer, I appreciate one of the things, great customer service too. I mean, I want to thank the people that are at the front desk, the tellers, all that, because it's a really friendly service that you feel like you're part of it. Stay up here, Tim, because we're going to see if we can answer a few questions. So if you have questions, please raise your hand, and we'll be happy to talk about that. Way back, Chris, could you just stand up? Well, yeah, just shout it out. I don't.
The answer to what she asked about is that we must outspend our competition on marketing and advertising. And do I get any resistance from our board members? And the answer to the latter is no. And the answer to the former is yes. We do outspend. And yet, we drive these numbers through a very carefully balanced management of both costs and revenues. So a metric that I would offer that I didn't put up on the screen because you didn't want to turn this into a banker numbers presentation, but I look very closely at a metric that's called the efficiency ratio. And so that is a ratio that reflects how many dollars in cost does it take to generate $1 in revenue. And we have brought that ratio down each year annually for the past 10 years, and we're now at 54%. So it takes us 54 cents to generate $1 of revenue, and that compares to all banks in the country, which are about 68%, and all banks in Michigan are at 74%. So while we do spend more on marketing, we've got a very carefully balanced income and expense statement.
Yep. As you're hiring new employees, other than their banking skills, what sorts of things are you looking for?
Mim asked, what other skills other than their banking skills am I looking for when I'm hiring a new employee? It doesn't make any difference what area of the bank you're in. Whether you're serving internal customers or you're serving external customers, you've got to have shown an ability to provide an extremely high level of customer service. Second, you've got to be able to exhibit an ability to and an interest in growing, in participating in a high growth, fast-paced organization. As we've gone from 500 million to $1 billion, I can promise you the pace has picked up, the pace of play, the requirements on our colleagues has picked up, and you've got to have that ability to multitask. And so that would be the second. The third, of course, is your experience. We do hire people with non-banking experience. Matthew Altrudi as an example. I brought him on board probably 5 or 6 years ago, and I don't know if a lot of banks would have hired a Matthew Altrudi. Janice joined us without any banking experience. I guess the last one, which is not really the last in my mind, is you've got to have a commitment to the community. And you've got to be able to, Rico over here is an example. We hired Rico, Rico. We hired Rico for our equipment finance leasing subsidiary. It's not uncommon for me to see Rico on one of the lists if he's attending this event or that event. And so I think those factors are things. I used to send my boys off to school every morning, and I gave them 3 tenets. I said, work hard, do your best, and have fun. And I kind of promote that at the bank as well, because I think if you miss any one of those 3, you're not going to be successful. Why don't we do this?
So banking isn't known for being the most adventuresome industry. My question is that you could show results now, but when you first started this whole thing, how did you package it to the board and to those people who were important to get them on board with this sort of radically new way of marketing who you are?
Let me ask David. David, I'm going to put you on the spot. Come on up just for a second, David, sorry. He's on the board. And maybe, David, you could comment as a board member about how to, come on up, and don't be shy. And how, as a board member, you were able to buy into this. What was going on?
Yeah, let me just, thank you very much. Actually, I was thinking about the prior question. It was absolutely right. When I was being recruited to the board, I vividly remember this. I was asked to join the board. I thought, right off the get-go, oh, this is going to be kind of a nice plum job. I'll sit on the board, show up a few meetings. It'll be very nice. Until I sat down with Tim and Bill Martin, and they sat down and they talked about, okay, here's how it works. Basically, I always love this guy. If you miss 2 meetings in a row, you help pay back money, your retainer, whatever you pay for the board meeting. In other words, you absolutely have to participate in every board meeting. But more importantly, we talked about the employees. The board members are also to be engaged in the community. We're in multiple different areas. We show up at events. It's a full participatory kind of exercise from throughout the banking area. And I think in terms of involvement in the community and the real buy-in to what the bank was done is right at the beginning. So quite honestly, there wasn't, in my mind, a sell job that had to be done to the board of directors. It was very collaborative, if I can be very candid, and that's how it came about.
Wouldn't you agree, David, that the hardest thing to sell though was the granny apple green color, Big Ann Arbor, Michigan? We had a few choices, and that was really our favorite, and we ended up getting it accomplished. But we had a lot of discussion on what color we were going to brand the bank on.
That helps. And I wonder if we'd like to expand this a little bit in questions. So maybe Jan, if you can stay up here. And is there a customer of the bank that wants to come up? Because I want to talk a little bit. This is all candid. about culture, and you had a sign up there, and it's one of the most frequent things I get asked as a business consultant is, how do I build my culture? So Janet, come on up, I'm going to put you on the spot here. And then, is there a customer of the bank that wants to come up? Come on up. Yeah, George. And we just want to talk about culture permeating. I mean, you talked about how you try to build the culture, but as a customer and as an employee, how do you feel it? How do you experience the culture with? Oh, George gets to see that. Janet, you were tracking the bank recently. What is it about the culture that you like?
Truly everything. I came from a creative background, creative ad agency, and I didn't really want to work at a bank. and people that I tell now that I work at a bank go, really? You work at a bank? But our bank is a part of the Ann Arbor community, a part of the Ypsilanti community, Saline community, Plymouth community. And I post a lot on social media about things I do. So now I get responses from my friends. Well, do you really do real work? Or are you constantly doing events? When you saw the Fun Green Van at the beginning, we give things out that make people smile. The apples at our branches are always available for people to have. I just now posted, does your boss come and do a presentation wearing apple green chucks? And mine does. So that just tells you about what the culture is like and how people feel valued. I'm part of a committee in our bank called EAT, and it's an employee group that talks about events that we do together. Everyone's on the same level. Ideas come from anywhere and are heard, and we do fun things together as staff. So people really enjoy spending time together too.
And I want to say, Janet and Tim, that I'm not going to say who it is, but somebody came up to me in this group, a younger person, and said they thought they were conceived in 1974 in that van. I think it was in Honduras somewhere.
Good morning. My wife and I, Bank of Ann Arbor, love the color, love the card. Tim didn't call me, but I do have on green socks. We bank at the one on Stadium, and I always grab an apple. Always grab an apple. And what I like about that branch is there are times that I am late, 1 or 2 minutes beyond closing time, and they're always there. So they're not in a rush to leave. What that means to me is that's an indication that you have a culture and you have a process that has built-in workplace of choice. In most places, you see people running out the door to leave right at 4 o'clock or 4:35. There's several times that I pull up to that bank beyond closing hours, and they're open, and they're serving. I don't know if that's part of your portfolio or your template, but I think it's an indication that those employees, specifically at that branch, like what they do. Like what they do. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I guess you're supposed to have a tag that you're supposed to, if you want to tweet on these things. Is there someplace that you're supposed to be sending this? Or?
On Twitter, it's @Bank of Ann Arbor. To follow Tim, it's @MarshallTim. And on Facebook, we're Bank of Ann Arbor.
So Tim, I have a question for you as a person who does a lot of coaching with executives. There's lots of challenges, and you've given us the rosy picture. But what keeps you up at night? What are the things that worry you, that are difficult for you, and that you find stressful about your job, and a little bit maybe how you handle it?
I don't think we have enough time to speak. I'm not a real good sleeper, as some of my colleagues know. I carry a lot of words. I'm very competitive, and so when you look at those green bars, I want those green bars to continue to go up, and that's not an easy accomplishment. I mean, and that's what I try to remind our board about is what we're accomplishing is not by happenstance, and it's a collective effort of 170 people working together, enjoying what they do, and delivering these results. Other concerns that I've got is, of course, cybersecurity. It's an area that we spend a lot of time on. We've been very successful on. But the bad guys are out there trying to get into banks and trying to get into retailers and trying to get into your personal information. I mean, how many times has your email address been hacked? We have customers whose email addresses get hacked, and then the fraudster goes back in all of your emails that you've sent, and they can develop a behavioral pattern, and then they try to communicate directly with the bank to get us to wire transfer money. So we've had to implement dual authentications. We've got all kinds of processes in place that we don't just accept an email and say wire transfer to another part of the country. So that's an area. And then I think the other area that I spent a lot of time on, as your question is the 170 employees, and how are we building this for the future, and who are we attracting? We had a really big week last week, and I can't wait to publicly announce a couple of new colleagues that are going to be joining the bank. They're going to be huge additions. They're going to help fuel future growth. But one of them has to take what is called a 90-day garden leave. So they've separated from their bank, but their bank, due to the nature of the work that they've done and the success that they've done, they had entered into a covenant that they will sit on the sidelines for 90 days before they start with Bank of Ann Arbor, and that bank is going to pay them to go up to their up north lake cottage for the summer. So it's things like that. But when you have 7 branches, 170 employees, there's always something going on personnel-wise.
Well, I'd like to thank Tim for coming here from another state. He was not from Ohio. That was Indiana, right? That's good enough because that's the 56-0 that we were in.
Thanks for that. I'm going to let my wife know about that. She got her master's from IU.
Tim has been a great addition to the community, and I think all of us appreciate what you've done. Sponsoring Leaders Connect has been fabulous. I mean, this is something that has been going on this year, and it's really made a huge difference for my business. And I know the employees are very happy. Some have come over from other banks and are really just delighted in the change. I think at all levels, the customers are very delighted, as George mentioned. So we appreciate that because it's not an easy business. It's kind of a commodity business, and it's hard to differentiate yourself. And those of us that also appreciate what Mike has done, again, where banks usually aren't interested in startups because there's not much money to be made in startups, and it's really a service, and only 1 out of maybe 100 ever get to a point where they're generating real money for the bank, but it's a great service that we have in the community. So I personally want to appreciate you for everything you've done, and for all of the folks. I think we not give just applause to Tim, but it's a team effort. So let's give an applause to Janet and Michael and all the other people. Hire a former police chief here to Carl Inns is a former police chief in Ann Arbor, right?
And a rock star in the mortgage area.
And a rock star in the mortgage area. So we're going to wrap up. Please feel free to linger or stay around. We're going to have a conversation with some people that Mike has brought in from Detroit. He's part of the leadership group there about bringing Leaders Connect to Detroit. That's pretty exciting. So if any of you would like to participate in that conversation right afterwards, you're welcome to. And we're going to be taking a couple months off for the summer, and in the fall we're going to be back with a presentation from the culture about Herman Miller. We've got a speaker that's going to be talking about positive organizational stuff at the University of Michigan, and we're going to put together a great presentation for next year too. So thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you all in September.